Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for joining on time. I hope you all had a good day and a good weekend as well. Today is the 11th session, so the second last session. We'll try to cover the grammar topics that we have not covered so far. But to be honest, I believe if you are already living in Germany or if you have used any random app to learn German, you already know these things. But because I promised to cover every grammar, all the grammar aspects that I know of, we will cover these topics as well. So we will try to see what all we can cover. So there are four topics that I want to cover, and one more thing we will try to practice German together. So we will try to look at some sentences that I can imagine using it in my daily life, and you can also you can imagine that you will say this specific sentence in your daily life. Thumbs up, guys, please, so that I know you can hear me and you can also see the screen. Thank you very much, Veena. So let's continue. So practice we will do a little bit later. Let me just very quickly go here. Okay, so this right. So in English we have this and we have these. So this this and we have these these. In German we also have that. Okay, so in German we also have that, but as with every other article in German. So let me just write this. What do I mean? In English we have this for singular, then we have these, right? So in English is very easy. You just have these two words. In German, you have to memorize all these variations. Okay, so you have to memorize what is it? So first you have to memorize dieser, then you have to memorize dieses, diese. Then the same for accusative, diesen, dieses, diese. Then for dative, diesem, again diesem. Same for masculine neutrum. Feminine is dieser. Plural is diesen. To be honest, I will not pronounce this as dieser. I'll just say dieser. I'll pronounce this one also the same as way as I'm pronouncing this one, because at least in the city where I live, when there is a word in German ending with R, we don't emphasize that specific alphabet, that R alphabet at the end of a word. Just so that you understand what is going on, I want someone to read this for me. So you have to read the nominative ones, then the accusative ones, then the dative ones. Anyone who wants to read? Uh, Suraj, do you want to read?
For nominative masculine, it is dieser,
So
diesen.
for the first time, right? Try to speak slowly. And I know I say that don't emphasize the R at the end, but now you have to do it. So just say like these are these as. Go slowly and pronounce each alphabet.
Yeah. So for nominative case, it is dieser for masculine. Neutral, it is dieses. Then feminine, dieser. And for plural, dieser. For accusative, it is diesen. Then neutral, dieses. Feminine, dieser. Plural, dieser. And for dative, it is diesem. Neutral, diesem. And feminine, dieser. And plural, diesen.
Okay. But tell me, Suraj, do you actually have to memorize this, or can you follow? Do you really have to remember this ending, or do you already know it intuitively because you know the other articles? So,
I think, yeah, it's easy to remember as we have ending R and M.
right. So
Easy to
also,
other.
so if I ask you the definite articles, I mean, so imagine I'm asking you to fill this table with definite articles. Fill this for me, nominative first.
I mean, like
So what is the
nominative.
so there, right?
Yeah,
Then
yeah. Uh, for Trump is I don't remember. Sorry.
there
Yes.
the das, right? There the das.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that the das.
So no, don't say there the
And
das. Fill the correct one. So there, das, and here.
there das and D, and plural is D. That you de den. Uh, Neutral is das. Then feminine is D. And Yeah, plural is D. For dative, it is dame. Then neutral is mm,
It's the same, right?
yeah. So it's um, dame. Feminine is uh,
Just use the hint. Its hint is there in front of your eyes. So it will begin with, of course, the alphabet day or D, and it has to end with the sound air. So what
There,
will it be? There.
there.
And this one is Dane. So these, and what I'm trying to say is that, if you know one, like if you remember the rules for definitive article, uh, for example, here it is there. Here it is boy. Mhm. So you remember this one, and so here it is thus, right? Here it is the. So what I'm trying to say is that check the ending there. These are thus, these is the, these are. Check the ending, right? Again these are. Again, when you go from nominative to accusative, only masculine changes. So these one remain the same, right? So these are. Only nominative changes, and you know that accusative masculine ends with n. So these are becomes these and. Also the other way around, right? Definitive articles will be then, thus, the. Check the ending, the, thus, then. Dative check. Them, it's also these. Feminine there. So these are here, these in. Okay. Any questions what I just said? How you can remember this? Please ask. Otherwise, I will assume that you know these things. Okay. So again, nothing, I mean, of course, there is something new, but it's not that you have to learn new rules. You already know this. Okay. Again, in real life, if you end up saying these is where you were supposed to say these are, you know, people don't mind, exam, they will cut your marks. I will cut your marks. But in real life, people don't care too much, whether it is these is or these are, for example, one example I always give is that, let's say let's say your team has a very big problem right now, and no one is can think of a solution, and then you say, chef, boss, ich habe einen Lösung. Is this correct? Is there some mistake in this sentence? Anyone? Mistake in the
no.
sentence?
I think it should not be einen.
What should it be?
Einer.
Eine, right? But let's say, I'm your boss, and let's say I'm German, of German origin, and you tell me that, Rohit, or chef or boss or whatever you call me, ich habe einen Lösung. Will I at that moment try to tell you, no, 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 your German is not correct, go and learn German and then come back with the solution? No, right? You have a solution, and I will take your solution. And if I'm someone that who is very humorous, I'll say from now onwards in our team, it's no more there. Lösung is no more feminine; it is now masculine. You know what I'm saying? So it's important, but it's not that. In the beginning, point is that you say something. Okay, mistakes are fine. Try to correct them, but try to say something. Okay. All right. Let me delete these things. So let's continue. We also have, we need to cover, one second, let me just find that. Yes. So uh, Veena, do you want to read this slide for me? Wait, where is the slide? Yes. So can you read this for me?
Yeah. Es gibt.
Do you know where you can use it? If you already know, it will be nice. If you don't know, we'll help you understand. So can you frame a sentence for me?
It's for feminine.
No, it's not feminine. So do you know, like, have you heard someone say something like as gift in a movie, in a
Yeah,
movie? Yeah.
actually, I have heard this, especially in one of Es gibt eine Verspätung.
Okay, so and if I ask you to, let's say, if I ask you to translate that to English, what does it mean?
I think there isn't a delay.
There is, right? So there is, there is a delay. I come to your house and I say, what is there for dinner? What will you say? Let's say, if you're nice to me, what will you say? There is this, there is that. So es gibt dies und das. So es gibt is there is. Okay.
Mhm.
Needless to say, es gibt can also mean as there are. Depending on what the object is. If you want to say es gibt Verspätung, that is, es gibt Verspätung. You can also say es gibt Verspätung und uh, something und blah blah. Okay. So is it clear what es gibt means? So and what comes after is, she said like es gibt Verspätung. So uh, but if you have to use the definite article, there is the delay. So you will have to say die Verspätung. But in accusative, the remains the, right? So there is no change, right? How do you say accident in German? Accident on a highway, or like somewhere else. Or let's go for something positive. Escaped. Yeah, yeah. There is a laptop. Yeah. How do you not laptop? Ah, boy. There is a man. There is a man standing outside. How do you say there is a man or a man? There is a man. How do you say there is a? You have to say it using escaped. So you have to use man, and then you have to use the correct article over here. So what it will be? Escaped, blah blah man, and for blah blah you have to use indefinite article.
Es gibt Einmann.
Man.
Einen man, accusative.
Oh,
Okay, einen man. Hey, it's the blue banner tells you that the here it will be accusative. You know, I think this was for example. I mean, so ignore this. It is not true anymore. But for the previous A1 batch, I gave them 24 complimentary sessions. But I think now we have only 12. So can someone read this for me?
Es gibt 24 Sessions für den A2-Kurs.
Okay, so this is obvious, why I don't, okay, I don't know if you covered this, but okay, here, you don't see it whether it is accusative or dative because you're not using any article, so that this just means there is 20, there are, now it is no more there is, now it means there are, you know what I'm saying? So now it is, this does not mean there is, now it means there are, depending on the object. Again, no one is, sitting inside your head and checking, okay, in your head whether translation is there is or there are, but okay. So after escaped, you can use singular or plural. Okay, escaped ein Session, escaped 24, and it can be singular, it can be plural, but whatever it is, it will be in accusative case. And you don't need to worry about accusative in this example because there is no article being used. Okay, where else can you use, was skipped as few? Thus, can someone read this for me, Suraj?
Es gibt es für Abendessen.
Right. I hope it's. Can you? I think it's obvious what it means, right? You come back home, and let's say there is someone who is at home who can cook for you. Then you can say, was skipped as für das Abendessen. What do we have now? Here the meaning changes, right? Now here it doesn't. If you, I mean, if you go by the translation of, what is okay. So what is there for dinner, or what do we have? I mean, so don't try to translate every time. Just understand the context in which sgipt can be used, and sgipt can be used in multiple ways. You know, so you are working for a project, and the client says, like. Uh, how can you help us? You say, we have two offers. Es gibt zwei Angebote. Or your boss says like, do you like, can you also do this one extra task? And you say, boss, there is already two tasks that I have to do. Es gibt schon zwei Aufgaben, die ich machen muss. Noch eine kann ich nicht machen. There's different ways where you can use escaped. Okay. Now, you can continue reading. So I hope any questions about escape, please ask. What I want you to remember is that understand where you can use escaped, and after escaped, it is accusative. The object will be accusative, meaning if you are using an article, that article will be accusative article. In accusative case, sorry. Please read this for me.
Es gibt Pizza und Cola.
Please continue reading.
Das gibt's doch nicht.
Have you heard this somewhere? Someone say it, or have you? Okay. Any idea what it may mean? It does not mean what you think it is. Okay, so this is a phrase. You will hear this. I mean, I don't think you will hear this in office life, but you will hear this when someone is really frustrated with what something has happened. So, it's something like that cannot be possible, thus, or it simply means, I do not accept what is happening right now. For example, it's like you mentioned this, es gibt eine Verspätung. You will hear this maybe when the train gets late, very, like the train gets, they say, es gibt eine Verspätung von 5 Minuten, then 10 Minuten, and then, the train does not come at all, then some people really say that das gibt's doch nicht. Das gibt's doch nicht. Of course, and they will say it like this, or it's never positive. It's something negative. It's you say it out of frustration. Okay, why I'm teaching you this? When you learn something, see, if you can build, if there are phrases which can be used corresponding to that thing you learned. Okay, so das gibt's doch nicht. It's just simply a way of saying, like I do not accept what is happening right now. Okay, any question about this?
Why do we use dog in this context?
Yeah, dog, so it's I really cannot answer this question. For this, you will have to join the C1 course, which I will help you understand. It's something dog here. It means so something has happened. You do not. How do you say? There are two answers I can give you in a short way. Words like doc, mal, eben, they sometimes. So if you ask a teacher, they will say that they make the language musical. So what do I mean by making the language musical? They add some kind of rhythm to the language. Okay, so one meaning is there. Uh, I can give you one example. Oh boy, I don't want to share this slide. Let me go to the next slide. Yeah. So, have you ever heard this? Have you ever heard someone say this? Mach mal die Tür auf. Never? You can say no if you not, so that I know you mean no.
I think no.
Okay. What does it mean? What does it mean?
Open the door.
Open the door, right? So you don't really need mal over here, but we use mal. Even I don't know, but I mean, I have asked people. They say it makes the language musical, and this is how people normally speak. Okay, mach mal die Tür auf.
Okay.
Again, this is very informal. This may you can say this to a colleague who is very close to you. Let's say you go out for coffee in the office and you forgot to take your card, right? And you cannot again come in. So you call a friend and of colleague you say, "Hey, Rohit, kannst du die mach mal die Tür auf?" It's like you are not requesting. You're just saying, "Open the door." Okay.
Okay.
uh,
Okay.
like on this Saturday, I was in the gym, and I don't know if you have been to Fitex or so where I live, there they have this. They, for example, I was standing at a place and I was training with some weights with dumbbells, and I had to keep the dumbbells back, and it was like a level above me. How do I say, so I had to actually walk a few, like 3-4 stairs up, and I had to do it. And so it was a situation where someone who was standing upstairs, he could help me, so it wasn't like upstairs, but there was like 3 feet gap, and I mean, and for some reason that person understood that I want to keep it, and he just said, give mal rohish. So he said, just give it to me and I will keep it. So he just said, give mal rohish. So here he only had to say give, it means to give. He said mal and he said rohish as well. Again, if you want to translate, it will be like, give it to me silently, but it doesn't mean that. Okay, it just means give, and in a very colloquial way. And I believe if you think about your mother tongue, you will also have some words which have no meaning, but you use them. So these are words,
Yeah.
for
Yeah. Right.
example, ruhish has a meaning, it means silent, or but here it does not, doesn't mean that. It means it has no meaning over here. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So to answer your question, let me go back. So here, boy. So here, doc. I mean, if you ask me, doc, it literally means something, yeah, just accept there are two reasons. One is grammatical, so we'll look at doc also, what doc means, but here just accept one reason is that it makes the language musical. Okay.
Okay, got
uh,
it. Thank you.
okay, yeah. Again, it's A1, no need to worry. Just so then was gives, it's just a short form of was gift as, what is there. uh, but have you ever been greeted by someone in this way? You meet a friend and they like a German, like friend who speaks German, instead of
Right,
saying,
right, right.
right, so it,
Was Gibbs. What's up?
was gives, was gives. Again, this is very
What's
colloquial.
up?
Don't use this with your boss. Okay. uh, so was gives is like, what's up, was gives. Okay. Or yeah, I don't know, for example, you call of, so you call me and we are very close, and I will say, yeah, was gives, what's there, why did you call me? Okay. So was gives noise, I think it's obvious, right? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I have sometimes, my supervisors have used this with me. I never used this with them, but I mean, it's not impolite. It's like, your boss is calling you and asking, like, what is the update or something like that. You can also use this with a friend, was gives noise, okay. So different ways,
Thank you.
this phrase is as gift. Now we are using it in different ways. Okay. But
Okay,
the
okay.
grammar still remains the same, right? W word, verb, and the subject. So was, gift, as. Here the phrase already tell, this is something called as redemetal, If you go for an exam, they say that, this writing part, you can, 50% of the you can remember already, because these are like redemetal, I don't know the English word. So you already go with these words, you right? You use these phrases wherever you can as gift. Then there is a spelling mistake. So can you imagine using this? Here means here, right? Can you imagine using this somewhere? Give me an example, please. Gift as here, blah blah. You are in the office for the first time, and not in the office, I don't know, some place where you want to say, is there. You go to nearby, it's 12.
Gibt es hier, gibt es hier ein Toilette?
Yeah, right. And a toilet, right? So is there? I think it's obvious, right? Or you can also say gift as dot. Gift as dot and a toilet. I mean, you can replace with, just use it in different ways. Okay. Of course, just
Like
remember.
kitchen or something. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So uh, yes. Okay. You can also say, is there someone? How do you say, is there someone? And of course, is there someone who blah blah? But just tell me, how do you say, is there someone? So you have to know how to say someone. Do you know how to say someone?
Jemand,
So what accusatory will be Yamandan.
jemanden, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Jemanden.
Now, so we covered escaped. Let me also join from my phone so that I can see who all are there in the call. Because I don't want to. 1 second, guys. Uh, Perfect. I'm in. Okay. So uh, let's see if there are other guys who want to participate. Now, uh, Rishabh, if you don't mind talking, can you read this for me?
Yeah.
You, Rishabh, you are talking, then I will have to request you to stop. Don't mind.
Okay.
Uh, uh,
Sure.
yeah, Kavil. I just see Kavil and dot dot dot. Do you mind? Kavil. I just see Kavil and dot dot dot. Okay, no problem. Veena, do you want to read
Yeah. Uh, the right side ones, right? Yeah.
this one?
Is Gab.
Escarp, it simply means, so last week we discussed, right? This to talk about past, sometimes normally,
Mm-hmm.
go with participes y, but sometimes you need preteritum, right? So there was, sometimes you want to say, let's say if you go to Christmas party, office, and then a colleague does not go because he or she is sick, and then he calls you, and then of course the one question most people ask, what was there for eating, because that's, I mean, most of the people,
Mm-hmm.
I, so, and you'll say, yeah, esga, blah, 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 so there was, you know So here you, I mean, you can also say es hat blah blah gegeben, but it must makes much more sense to, so geben, remember, part preteritum as well is what I'm trying to say. So of course accusative. So read this sentence for me.
Was gab es fürs Abendessen?
It's obvious, right? What was there for dinner?
Ja. Es gab Pizza und Cola.
No, this is no,
Mahlzeit.
no, 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 no. I think this is
Ja.
yes. What I want you to read this is, please read, exactly as it is written. So für das fürs, and continue reading, please, Veena.
Für das Fürs and them am in them im in das ins.
So whenever, again, I don't think we looked at this as part of A2 actually, when you can use on them, but some, just like English, for example, you can combine few words. For example, when you have fewer das, you can just say fewers. When you have on them, you can just say when you have in them, you can say im. When you have in das, you can say ins. Again, don't do it, for example, if you have in there, don't say indr. It does not exist. Okay, so just remember these four for now. We will need them when we go to A2. Okay. So,
Uh,
yeah,
Sorry, can use in the exam as it is, right? Für das Fürs, like
yeah. If you
Fürs.
do this, your examiner will give you extra marks.
Okay, thank
I
you.
don't think it's part of A1. Okay, das is there. I don't. I mean, so in A1 exam, again, I'm not very. I mean, I'm not sure what they
I
ask
mean,
me.
it should not be technically wrong, like in the Schreiben part,
No, no,
if you are
it's correct.
writing.
It's correct. It's correct. It's technically correct.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And examiners, yeah.
Rohit, I have a question. Sorry to interrupt. Yeah, so in some places I have seen people using im and in and ins. So what exactly the difference between these and when to use im and
So,
in? Mhm.
so in actually happens to be a vexel. We have prepositions in German language, right? So similarly,
Mhm.
you have in prepositions in English like in, of. So you have
Mhm.
prepositions in German language. Some prepositions, for example, few, it's always accusative. You know what comes after few? It is always or not always, but almost always. The reason I say almost because I don't know about C2, but up to C1, they will tell you that after few it is almost always accusative. Okay, then you have verbs like an, you know or let's say nach. After nach it's always dative. For
Mhm.
also dative. Su always dative, almost always dative. But then you have verbs like in, an, auf,
Mhm.
über, zwischen. These are called as Wechselpräpositionen. Wechsel, I think you know, right? It means change.
Yeah.
So they actually mean that these verbs. I mean, they are not loyal. I know you know what I'm saying, right? So they can be
Mhm.
accusative, they can be dative. Of course, they will never be after prepositions. It's never nominative. Either it is dative. So they will be. Okay, let me go one step back. Thank you for asking. This is actually A2, but we'll cover that. No problem. Okay. So you have prepositions. They are called as they are not called as accusative prepositionen, but I hope like after them it will be accusative. Then you will have this dative ones, which is dative. For example, this nach, for, zu.
Mhm.
Then you will also have few genitive. We don't know what it means, but you will also have that after them it has to be genitive. Okay. For example of genitive is wegen, trotz. Okay, we'll cover them later. I think in A2 or B1, A2 I believe. Then there are prepositions, these vexel prepositionen. They can be accusative, they can be dative. Uh, Now, when is it accusative, when is it dative? It depends. Okay. So there is a separate, like this one extra class which I do when I talk about this. But maybe you can give me examples and I can tell you, just tell me, like, give me some examples that you heard, and I will tell you, like, why is it like that and why is it like that. So give me examples where you have heard him and where you have heard.
Like ich bin in der Schule.
So yeah, okay. So you say ich bin in der
Yeah.
Schule, right? So here you are describing a position, right? So this in here, whenever you are describing a position, it is dative. Okay. So if you want to say the book is on the table, das Buch ist. Don't ask me why you say auf and not say an. Just accept it for now. It will be dem Tisch. Okay. So whenever you are describing a position, it will be dative. Another other examples where it is not, where it is. So
Im. Uh-huh.
yeah. So let's say
Ich
for example,
bin im Auto.
yeah. Then it will be out im auto. Ish.
Yeah,
In them auto, and you can just club in
im.
them together, and it becomes im. But here
Mm-hmm.
you cannot do it. Don't say auf. No, it doesn't. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
also one, you're difficult to say it, right? So German language, any languages, like people, they said some guy was saying, like 1,000 years ago in them, and they realized they can just say im, you know. Then they may have been
Mm-hmm.
a guy who said, let's say auf, and the other people just gave him, like a stare, and like, what are you saying? It doesn't make sense. So one example where it is, here it is dative. But let's say if you say ich gehe, okay, ich gehe. Now, ich gehe in, if you want to say, so ich bin in der Schule, and before that you went to the school, right? So I am going to the school. Here it is accusative. This one you have to accept. Okay, so this one you have to accept. Okay, this is accusative. So this is also another topic. Let me just from again, don't, this does not, I'm not trying to, don't have this impression that the German language is difficult. There are just rules you have to remember. Okay, so whenever you are going to places, right? So gehen, common, right? So you, for these we will use prepositions, right? So you can use prepositions like in, zu, nach. Okay, you can also sometimes use an, but normally in, zu, nach. You use in when you mean that you will be inside that place. So if you say ich gehe in die Schule, it means that, I will find you inside that school building. But if you are just, you are going there with your kid, you're just going to drop your kid, then it is more technical to say ich gehe zu Schule, and after zu it will be dative, zu der Schule. So you will not go inside. So your kid will say ich gehe in die Schule, but you will not. You will say ich gehe zu. So zu, sorry, zu der Schule. Okay, is it clear what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay, right. And think of this example, right? Let's say after this session you want to have, don't want to cook, and you want to have dinner or falafel tasha, right? And let's say the place that you want to normally want to have, it is near the station, so you will have you, and so if I meet you in the hallway and ask you, "Look, where are you going?" You will say, "No, I'm going to the station." But you actually mean that you are walking to the station, because next to the station there is this falafel shop,
Mm-hmm.
shop restaurant. So you will say ich gehe zu Bahnhof, and with Bahnhof it is, and the Bahnhof is their Bahnhof, so it will be dative. Sorry, not without. I mean, it is their Bahnhof, but after zu it will be dative. So zu dem Bahnhof. Okay, but let's say uh, tomorrow you are you're flying to some other place and you want to take the train, right? Then you will say ich gehe in den Bahnhof. Now it is accusative because you will be going inside. Okay, what I wanted to remember is that with this gehen common, you use in su. When you use in, it is accusative. When you use su, it is dative. In means you will be inside that place. Su mean you are going in that direction. Okay, Nak is normally used when you are like like moving between cities. But yesterday I was watching some documentary about this kid, who like her parents came from a different and like a not so good country, and they opened some shop over here, and now she is about to become a doctor. So like some German TV show, they did documentary on her, and she was telling that when I was in school, I was I wanted to learn German, and I was always correcting my friends, and she said like my friends always said we have gehen nach Aldi, and she said it's not nach Aldi, it's zu Aldi or in Aldi, because you use nach when you're talking about places. Okay, so I mean, but even people say ich gehe nach Aldi, but they don't, it's that means that Aldi is in some other city. Okay, so you use nach when you're talking about places which are far away. Okay, but then there is this exception with house. So if you want to say I'm going home, you can say ich gehe nach Hause. This is an exception. Okay, so is it clear?
Okay.
It's so nach.
Sorry, one more question I have.
Yeah, go ahead.
In some, I think in some general, in some German TV series or some movie, I saw them and they were saying like nach mir, nach mir. So they were meaning, I think they were saying according to me. So why they were using nach after, like mir after nach?
Yeah, because it
So
is dative,
I
right? So uh, like after nach, so again, this is a special, like I think you don't hear this. It's very
so
so.
what they meant like
But I don't
according
think
to
they
me,
meant
like they
knock mia. They knock mia normally means after me. Let's say you and I are standing in a queue and we are very close friends, and you want to make fun of me. You say ladies first. Knock diya. So you just point at me and say like after you, you go first. I mean, and I hope you don't mind my humor. You know. So uh, so knock after knock it is. So your question is like, what is your question? I mean, I know the context, but what is the
actually
question?
they were saying there was some phrase. So in that context, I think they meant according to me. So it was they were expressing some opinion. So they were saying nach mir something something something.
Yeah, I don't think it will be nak. It would have been loud. So loud is according to this person, but maybe like I maybe some you can the same word can have different meanings. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
the same word can have different meanings, but here we are like again there. Nak mia again. I'm being honest with you. I have never heard this.
Maybe maybe the English subtitle should be wrong, I guess.
Yeah, don't use subtitles. If you are learning German, we using don't use subtitles. Okay. I think is this your first session, Rishabh? I had requested that if
No,
you
no,
are.
no. This is not my. I have attended. No, no. I have attended main sessions of yours.
Okay, then please do not use subtitles. If you are using subtitles, then it's a waste of. I mean, not a complete waste of your time, but you don't. I mean, how do you say?
I won't get the output out. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. The idea is that your ears get used to the German sound. More questions? So
No,
does this
thank you.
answer your question, Rishabh and Veena? Like propose like why is it
Yes, Rohit.
okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, there is few more things. Just accept that. Just few things. Start using them. It's always best let's say if you can say something correctly, and it's even better if you don't know the reason behind it. That means you are now you are actually learning the language. Because if you ask a German, why is it like that, they will say I don't know. I just know how to say it. So let's continue, guys. Thank you for the questions. It's always good so that I can. So let me see if there is something. Yeah, now this question. Yeah. So I want you to say this in German, please. Please say this in German, or try to say it in German, please. Suraj, Rishabh, you can do, no problem.
Okay. Ich trinke Cola nicht, aber Pepsi.
So you can say aber, but this is something like you can say, but you will agree with me, right? Aber is not made. I mean, in real life, you will not say but, right? You may say I don't drink cola, instead Pepsi. Again, the example is not that good. For example, let's say someone who is a data engineer and the boss, client says, can you do Power BI? If he is data engineer to its core, he will say ich bin ein data engineer. Uh, I mean, I am not a data, how do you say, Power BI guy. I am a data engineer. I am not a Power BI guy, rather data engineer. So whenever you want to say rather instead, aber will not be accurate. So do you know which word you can use when you want
I
to say?
think we can use clock.
Sorry.
Zonden.
Dog.
Zonden.
Zonden.
Yeah, so Zonden you can use, right? So Zonden, just again, you can use aber, it's not a problem. But I'm saying Zonden you should use, and think of it like this: not A but B. Now it makes much more. So whenever you want to say not A but B, then you should go with, for but you use Zonden. Okay, whenever you want to say the rather instead. Remember, after Zonden it will be accusative. Okay, I don't know why I don't have it over here, but so okay, don't ignore No, not needed. So sondern is kind of, so rather or instead. Okay. This one, please read this for me.
Wir haben immer auf, außer am Sonntag.
What does it mean? Or what do you think it may mean? You will not find the verb aufhaben in Leo, but it does exist in real life. If you go to Kaufland on Sunday,
Yeah.
what will happen?
It won't be, like
Yeah,
it
it's
will be
closed, right?
closed.
And
Yeah.
let's say if I don't know. So what do you think? Let's say if I'm the Kaufland, I'm the owner of the Kaufland. What am I trying to say with this sentence?
We are we
Just think,
are
what will you say?
open any day, but on Sunday we are closed.
Will you say
Something.
but? But is but the correct
There
word?
is no but.
I think except.
Except,
Except,
yeah.
except, right? So aufhaben, I don't think, maybe you will find this in Leo. I did not find it the last time I checked. Even I learned it, from, it means to be open. Aufhaben. So aufhaben means to open, to be, so, something is open, So wir haben auf, it means it, even if you literally won't translate, it may mean we have open. Okay. So wir haben immer auf, außer am Sonntag. Außer means except. So, okay. Uh, Start using these two words, So this sondern, außer, you can use this, And I just think, wherever, just say things in English, and whenever you want to say but, say au, sondern. Whenever you want to say except, say außer. Okay. So here also you see this example, right? Am Sonntag. So it's an dem Sonntag. After an, it is dative because you are describing a position in time. Okay. So you are describing a position but not in place in time. And that's why it has to be dative. So an Sonntag is their Sonntag. There becomes dem for dative. Is this clear or do you have questions? Okay. Please say
It's
this
Clear.
for me. Say this for me in German, please.
Das ist nicht
No, careful. You
Fernsehernis.
just learned how to say this. Okay. So,
This is
okay, go with das. Okay, you don't know it actually. Okay, go with das. Yeah.
das ist Fernsehernis, aber
Really?
ist
You will say
Bildschirm.
Fernsehen nicht. You cannot use Negationsartikel.
Es gibt kein Versehen, sondern ein Monitor. Eine Monitor.
No, but no. Let's say I work in Zat. You work in Zatuan while you are a student, and I come and I want to buy a screen, monitor, and I take and I find you and I go to this. Of course, in Zat, and like there is a section for TV, there is a section for screens. There is a difference, there is a difference. Of course, you can use them with an HDMI cable, like, for the same purpose, but there is, and I go to the TV section and I ask, how good is this? How much does this, okay, stupid question, but how good is this monitor? Your first response will be, this is not a monitor. It's not a TV, it's a monitor. You know what I'm saying, right? So you are not saying there, right? You are saying this is not. You know what I'm saying? Is it
Yeah,
clear?
yeah, right.
Right? So just say das, right? The das is kind. Yeah, just say
Das ist kein Fernseher, sondern ein Monitor.
one more time.
Das ist kein Fernseher, sondern ein Monitor.
It will be, yeah. So yeah, it's on monitor. Okay. Uh, just think, how you can say it. The one way to learn German is, just whenever you learn something, think about your day where you can imagine saying something. Okay. I don't think you can imagine saying something, but yeah. For example, and last time I said this, I because I work as a data engineer, and like someone told me that, someone said that after cleaning you can use the data for reports, and I was like, no, You cannot do that, so then I said it is not cleaning anymore, it is like something else. I said das ist klein cleaning sondern blah blah. Just telling you, how many different ways. Again, here it is nominative because we are using the verb sign. Also you can think, right, if you say this is blah blah, and if you want to find what blah blah is, your question will be who is blah blah, right? Okay. This one, again, I don't think you don't need to know how to say night owl, but if you know, it will be nice. But I think you should know how to say early bird or early riser, because you can imagine saying this, right? Okay, how do you say I am not I don't know, blah blah, but an early bird or early riser? How do you say early riser?
Ich bin keine Nacht.
Vina, try to speak slowly and use the correct word, not keen. There is nothing called as keen in German. It's kein.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Ich bin kein blah blah.
Nacht Jule.
Ah, you know that. So there the das. Okay, let's accept it to be feminine. Go ahead. Yeah.
Die.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, I don't think you need this, but just go with the sentence, please.
Ich bin keine Nacht die Jule.
Why will you say now again? You already said kaina, right? So kaina is an article. You don't need. I mean, okay. Please
Ich
answer this.
bin nicht ein nicht, Nackt.
Yeah. Then don't focus on night owl. Just focus on completing the sentence. Yeah.
Sondern ein early bird.
Okay. So you should know this word.
Früher,
No, no. Frühaufsteher. Okay. So Nacht
okay.
Euler. Okay. Thank you very much, Suraj. Veena, don't think it's not clear, right? So kaina is an article in itself. You don't have to say kaina and then the. Kaina is the article. Of course, you can say ich bin nicht eine Nachteule, but instead of saying nicht eine, you can just say keine. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Ich bin kein, again, one more word for, again, I don't think you need, even I don't, I mean, I would remember Nachteule, but I don't remember this Nachtschwärmer. I don't need to know this. So let's skip. I think it's obvious why it's nominative. If you go to, people do this, let's say, I know some people don't like eating onions. Let's say if you go to a dinner shop, one question they will ask is like, sasiki shaf, and then, yeah, how do you, and some people I have seen, normally women say this, like like everything except the onions for some reason. So how do you say this? Let's say I am the shop owner and you come to me,
Alles außer the willing.
no, no,
Alles ohne Säubern.
owner will be, I'm not saying without, I'm saying except.
Außer.
Of course, you can say
Also, yeah.
owner, like as long as the guy I understand what I'm saying, so it's fine. But here, except.
Alles außer Zwiebeln.
Perfect. That was really quick. So again, here it has to be. So alles außer den Zwiebel. Okay. For now, except it is accusative. Okay. With außer it is accusative. Okay. Again, if you say these, I don't think this will come in your exams, but for now, just accept it. Okay. Alles außer den Zwiebel. It's not actually, yeah, it's dative actually, not even accusative, but ignore it for now. Yeah. Because it is, yeah, let me ignore. Uh, okay, so let me just check if I have covered all the topics for today. I believe doc is remaining, right? So let's cover this one as well. But I think we did this also before. So, yes, Rose, I believe you joined. If you don't mind reading, you can read the sentences from here till here. Okay, you don't want to read. Someone else?
Kommst du mit? Da kommst du mit? Ja. Hast du gegessen? Nein. Kommst du nicht mit? Nein. Kommst du nicht mit? Doch, ich komme mit. Kannst du schwimmen? Ja. Kannst du schwimmen? Nein. Kannst du nicht schwimmen? Nein, ich kann nicht schwimmen. Kannst du nicht schwimmen? Doch, ich kann schwimmen.
So if you notice over here, these two questions, kommst du mit, hast du gegessen? Again, every question is a yes or no kind of question. In English, yes or no kind of questions can be answered with a yes or can be answered with a no. In German, yes or no kind of question can be answered with a ja, with a nein, also with a doch. Now, again, Rishabh, you had asked this question, right? Doch. Here, doch has a meaning. Okay.
Dog means?
Sorry.
Dog means?
Yeah, we'll cover that. Okay. So it literally does not mean anything over here, but I will tell you, so it has a meaning. Uh, it gives a meaning to the sentence, but it in itself has no meaning. Let's cover that. Okay. Let's look at the questions one more time, right? Kommst du mit? Ja. Hast du gegessen? Nein. So these two questions, they did not have the word nicht in them, right? These were kind of like positive questions, right? Kommst du mit? Hast du gegessen? The next two questions, kommst du nicht mit? Kommst du nicht mit? Or I can also say, right, hast du nicht gegessen? Okay, let me replace this one. I'm asking the same question, but like with a negative intonation. Not intonation, but you know what I mean. Right? Hast du nicht gegessen? I think I should not do that because I think there must be a reason why I wrote that. So let's stick to that. Okay. Yeah, I think it's because of the answer, right? So kommst du mit? If you want to, you're coming, you can say ja. Hast du gegessen? If you have eaten, you can say yes. Or if you have not eaten, you can say no. Kommst du nicht mit? Again, these two questions are asked in a negative way, right? Kommst du nicht mit? If your answer, let's say, where you can ask this, we both work in the same office and, in the break, we are going outside and I see that you are still busy with your laptop, and I ask you, hey, kommst du nicht mit? Right? If you have some meeting or something, some work to do, you can say no, no, I am not coming. But you are just about to finish the job and you want to say, no, I'm coming, so my question was negative, but your answer is positive. So you will say, Doc, ich komme mit. You know what I'm saying? So actually, kommst du nicht mit, you can answer either with nein or Doc. You cannot say ja or nein. So a positive yes or no kind of question, you can answer with yes, ja and nein. A negative yes or no kind of question, you can answer with nein and Doc. You cannot use ja over here. Okay. If you agree with the negative kind of question, you say nein. If you do not agree with the negative kind of question, you say Doc. Okay. So Doc here, what is the meaning of Doc? There is no meaning, but there is still a meaning, right? Is it clear what I'm saying? We know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's clear.
it's
So
something like sometimes yes, sometimes no, based on the question.
no, Doc always means no.
Okay.
Kommst du nicht mit? No, I am coming. But you don't say no, you have to say Doc.
Mm-hmm.
Is it clear? So Doc
Yeah.
actually means no. I mean, not literally means no, but you don't agree with the statement question, right? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Kannst du
Yeah.
Deutsch sprechen? Ja, nein. Kannst du Deutsch sprechen? You can say yes or no. But if I ask the same question in a negative way, kannst du nicht Deutsch sprechen? I'm using nicht. Now you cannot use ja or nein. So you can either say nein or doch. So if you
Yeah.
say nein, that means you cannot speak German. If you say doch, that means yes, I can speak German. Okay?
Yeah. Clear.
Kannst du schwimmen? Ja. Kannst du schwimmen? Nein. Yes or no. The same question, yes or no. But the same question is asked in a negative way. Kannst du nicht schwimmen? If you agree, you say nein, ich kann nicht schwimmen. You agree with the statement, but you don't agree with the statement. Doch, ich kann schwimmen. Okay. Quite often, people just say doch. For example, uh, I was talking to someone, I mean, I knew it, but for some reason I was not sure. I recently uh, was working with a new laptop and I was like, I cannot use this Linux on this laptop, even though in my head I know, like it's an operating system, I can use it. And I just said this to a colleague and he was like, Doc. I said, man, aber ich kann hier nicht Linux verwenden. And my colleague said, Doc. So he did not agree with my statement. Okay. So doc, it just negates the negative statement. Is it clear, guys? I think I'm being too technical now. Questions? Okay. So I think we have 5 minutes left. Let's see if there is something more that I wanted to cover today. Otherwise, we can do the. So we did doc. We use this. We did Zondenhausen. Now only this is what I mean, right? There, how you how why do you need as Gibt? Whenever you want to say things like there is there, how do you say there are two job offers? How do you say there are two job offers, guys? So for there are, you have to say there as Gibt. How do you say job offer? How do you say offer?
Angebot.
And just say job or Angebot. Okay, two is zwei. Then you have this da, right? I did not cover this da. Let me see if I can do it very quickly. Then we'll do the practice the next time. Don't think I have examples for da, but let's say yeah, let's say we both are at a festival and you want to go to us. Let's say if you want to go to the toilet, and I have been to the festival before, the day before as well. The festival is going for a week, and you ask me, Rohit, where is the toilet? And I just point and say there, there, right? there. If you want to say there, you can just say da. You can just say da. But if you want to say there is the toilet, then you will say da is the toilet. Okay. Let's go for a better example. Printer. I'm new to the office and I come, you are at the reception and I ask you, hey, I'm new here. Where can I find the printer room? Then you can just say da. You can point in the direction where I will find the pin. Will say da. Or you can say da is the drucker. Okay. Okay. You can also use for, there is the exit, da is the Ausgang, entry, Eingang, apple, man, any damn thing. Da. Okay. When you use sind, when the object is plural. Okay. Da sind die Kollegen. There are the colleagues. Okay. The same, the sentence is the same, right? I think it is clear, right? If there are questions, please ask. Uh, how do you say this? I don't like this solution, or I like this solution. How do you say you like something? How do you say I like you? You like me? Yeah. Now after
Ishmak.
mark, the object will be accusative, of course. So you have to use
Yeah.
the correct article.
Ich mag diese Lösung.
These are right. These are okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to say, use the verb gefallen, guys. If you give me this answer, I will be very happy. How do you use gefallen?
Mir gefällt die Lösung.
One more time. It's gefallen, and conjugation is gefällt.
Okay.
Mir
Gefällt.
gefällt. Now be careful. It will be dative. Why? Because I told you with gefallen it is dative. So correct answer is why it's so silent.
Gefällt die Lösung.
No. You have to use this
Mhm.
in dative.
This, okay. This.
Here is the table. You have to say mir gefällt dieser Lösung. Okay.
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 If you have questions, please ask. Okay. The call. We have only 2 minutes left. Yeah, let's do the exercises. I mean, don't really have to do anything because the answers are there in front of your eyes. But let's still do it. So you can read this for me. Why? No. Okay. How do you say this in German? So you have to tell me how do you say can, how to say forward, how to say to me.
Kann.
The entire sentence, please. Suraj?
Can you forward the mail to me?
No, you have to say that in German. The call will end, guys. Thank you very much for joining. Here is the answer. I hope you learned something. If not, please join. I mean, of course, you learned. If not, please ask questions. Thank you very much for joining. We will have the last session
Thank you.
on Wednesday. Please join. Don't think you will still learn something in the last session. I also have an announcement to make. Thank you very much for joining.